was a lovely day. It was, 25 degrees outside and sunny and just really gorgeous. Yeah. Yep. Are you having anybody else on your team join? I think Matt had indicated he was tentative.
Yeah, I think, but we're contacting the other members, but
okay.
If there are, if they won't be able to join, we can proceed, and then Jan is great in taking notes, and if there are screenshots needed.
Or we can record as well.
Definitely.
Yeah, Ryan asked if you could record it.
Oh, of course.
And also, we realize you guys, it's going to be like having you guys drink from a fire hydrant, and so there's going to be a lot. So we're going to hopefully we'll hopefully have like documentation and stuff like that afterwards. Not tonight, but because we'll also still need to get you guys set up with, or whoever is going to be in charge with logins and different things like that.
Right.
And all of that.
I always wonder if that reference was culturally appropriate. Are there fire hydrants? Like, I know the first time I ever heard that, drinking from a fire hydrant, I thought it was absolutely the weirdest thing I'd ever heard.
Yeah, as I said it, I was
tell
like...
me what a fire hydrant is. Why would you drink from it? And are you guys lacking a glass of water? Like, help walk me through this.
Are you guys okay?
Oh.
It's not commonly used here, but
Yeah.
since we've been interacting with many of our American friends, actually we are used to that. We are, even before Miniature, I was working with the corporate and dealing with
The colloquialisms? Yeah.
yeah. So, and I even studied all of your CC capital. That's weird, but a Filipino doing that.
No. That's cool. Let's see. Okay, so I'm all prepared to record. Do you think, are we waiting for Ryan? Are you waiting? I literally just okay, so I'm all prepared to record.
Oh, sorry. I heard, it sounded like, I was hearing your, like, audio or something like that, like, looping back, so I didn't know if, like, the Zoom chat froze or something.
No. That's weird. I totally heard the recording of my voice a minute later. I was just asking whether or not, I literally just hung up with Ryan, and I was just wondering if you,
yeah, I mean, I guess we're ready to start whenever, if everyone's here.
Should we wait for Ryan, or what do you think?
He said to go ahead.
Oh, he did. I
Yeah.
apologize. I was not clear about that.
No, that's okay. I mean, yeah, it'd be nice to have Ryan here, but I know he'll be. He said he wasn't going to be super late, so.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and record right now. Just a second, and this is the first iteration of the new Saddleback Santa Rosa campus webpage, training for content management and round one. Jesse, all you, sir.
All right, let me find the share screen. And again, if you guys have any questions during this time, obviously, like, feel free to just stop me and ask a question at any point. Sorry, I'm used to Teams where I can just click the window and it just starts sharing. This one I had to click the extra step to click the share button. Okay, so one of the things, are you guys at all familiar with our content management system? Probably not, because you probably haven't done anything in it, but I don't know who is and who isn't, but basically we'll send you guys the link, but it's this website called draft.saddleback.com/composite/top.aspx. That's where we kind of host all our pages, and we can kind of manage the content, the CMS content management system. and this is one of the things we'll have to set you up with a login, and hopefully it won't look as crazy, because I believe we can like limit what you guys see, which is not intentionally like not let you guys do things, but it really helps like what you see and what you can access. It makes it a little easier. But when you log in here and you get to this page, you're going to see, basically you'll just kind of see this right here. And we're going to start with the campus page. So I can show you guys that, which is, saddleback.com/visit/location/South Manila. So in here, we'll go to home, visit, locations, and it kind of follows the same path as the URL. And then you're going to see Santa Rosa. Now, Santa Rosa Online, that's where we'll go for like the online page for like Sundays and stuff like that, Saturdays and Sundays. But Santa Rosa, this is where your like kind of campus page lives. And you can kind of see a preview over in this pane here. But you'll right click and click Edit Page. And then it's going to say, oh, I had already opened it, so it's giving me this warning, but if it does. And sometimes it might say something like somebody else is in here making a change, and more often than not, that's just because somebody didn't click the little X button to close it, and they just closed the browser tab. Just be aware. You can feel free to try to reach out to whatever name it says, but just if you see that, don't worry too much. Like, it's just kind of a standard thing it does. Now it's going to drop you on this page, and right now we're actually working with one of our backend guys to see if we can maybe figure out what's going on. But if you notice, there's kind of these little boxes when I hover my mouse over, and they've got these spinning circles. They're not supposed to look like that. Something on our end is broken, and we're working on fixing that. So it's going to get easier for you guys to access here. This is, and I realize now, like as I'm showing you guys this is really confusing, but within here is the means to edit the Saddleback Santa Rosa page.
I noticed that our name, at least from the URL, South Manila. Would it be possible to change that to Santa Rosa, or is there a limitation where we can change our name?
So we do have a task in to change that, but it's there's a lot of back end things that are making that a little tricky, because there's a lot of other pages that are linked to this page, and we have to make sure that if we change it, we change those. Yeah. But then we have some database stuff that is tied to the old South Manila. And so if we change it to Santa Rosa, all of a sudden we have some mismatches. And so it's on our list to change. It's surprisingly more challenging than you think. And we apologize for taking so long on that, but it is something we have been working on. And just this year's been a little crazy.
So, the reason I asked is because there might be this temptation of the people from our end will attempt to change that, but now knowing that there's really a complication in terms of changing that, so it's better that I have to know that, so that it will give us a warning, and Jam actually will give Jam a warning to not to change it.
Okay, yeah, cool, yeah, no, thank you for asking, yeah. So obviously this is the page, and one of the big things I'll kind of teach you guys on what we can do is adding and editing these kind of slides right here. The other stuff, I think this kind of stays the same. Most of the text on this page can be changed, so like the text in here, even these links and stuff like that can all be changed inside the content management system I showed you. Like I said, right now it's a little tough to find where you go, but you basically find one of these little squares. They will look better once we figure out what's causing this issue. But you open it up and it gives you this thing called function properties, and you can see these little input fields, and that's where you can change. Let me find that SK Kids one that I found. Oh, a little bit further down. See, even for me, I'm like hunting and pecking here to see which one is which. Nope, one more down. Sorry. Oh, okay. This world looks really nice when it's all working together because everything is a nice little, like, its own little. But when you can't tell which one is which, it's hard to get in. But so notice here, Saddleback Kids, connecting kids to God and to others, and then that's this one right here. So you can change what this text says, this right here, this here, and the link. And again, you can even add another one of these if you want to. That's a little bit more complicated, not super complicated, but you would probably need to go into this button, source, which shows you kind of the HTML layout of the page. So if you're at all comfortable with that, but you can kind of add and take stuff away. But you always feel free to ask us for some help if you wanted to add another one of those little boxes on the page. But yeah, all these, all these. Oopsie, I clicked that button. All these kind of rectangular boxes there. I call them boxes, but the containers. They kind of switch from left to right down the page. Can be changed and edited. Now there's some limitations, usually you can only have about 2 links on each of them. So, you can't go crazy with a bunch of links, but, you can, change, and you can change the pictures. Yeah, in fact, I can show you how the picture thing works.
And the limitation that you're mentioning will be part
yes. So
of the guideline.
Action label and call to action link 2, and then there's 1 up above it. So basically, it just lets you only put in, you can put 1 link here, and you can label that link, and label the other link. And so, you can't add another one there. Yeah, and then the pictures right here. So if you wanted to check out the pictures, this is kind of how you do it through the content management system. Is you kind of open up this drop down, and right now it shows it has this picture, and you click select, and it's going to do to. It's a little slow, so it's just because we have so many pictures every time it goes, but it's going to take you to our media section where you can find a folder, you can upload a file, and then you can select it, and it will put it there. And then you'll need to save, either save the page or save and publish, and I'll explain that in just a second once this loads up and I can exit out here. But,
Brian. Right, I'm sure Jesse's doing well.
You guys know that a couple of people from our team joined as well. So there's Percy, who's our graphic designer / IT guy as well.
okay.
He's in charge of our tech team, so all the live stream stuff is under him.
Okay. Cool.
I don't know if Jesse already mentioned it, but that he's. So if you ever need to reference this training again, you can. Certain steps, especially around what image dimensions to use and some of those things that will send you some documentation to reference as well. So,
okay. Everything right here, so you can right now it kind of defaults already to the folder that is active. But if it didn't, you could kind of similarly up here, you have the media archive. You'd find saddleback.com, visit locations, and then down here, South Manila, or we can create a new folder called Santa Rosa. But nobody will really see this. It's just kind of what we've had in the past. You select the picture you want, click OK, and then you click OK again. I haven't is if you click Save and Publish, it immediately publishes the changes to the website. If you click save, it's like saving it as a draft when you like write an email or something like that. And there is a way you can view the page, so you can save it as a draft. And so if I take this link right here, if you go back to the content tab, you can take this link right here that says C1 mode unpublished, open it in a new tab, and it's going to have you log in through your content management system login, but that will let you see changes before they go live on the website. So if you wanted to just see what it looked like before having it go live, you can do that. I didn't have the right thing there, but I haven't made any big changes, so I didn't want to do anything. Where am I at? Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of how you edit most of the stuff, most of the main kind of like content on the Santa Rosa pages. Now the slides that I mentioned at the top are handled in a little bit of a different place. So again, I know I'm throwing so much at you guys, and this is only the beginning. So you go to content, and then you look over at the side, and you see this little kind of like cylinder. But I just look at it as a cylinder, and you click on that, and that's going to take you to the data section. Again, hopefully we can minimize all the craziness that you see in here when we give you permissions, just so it's not so overwhelming, because there's a lot here. But what you're going to do is you're going to scroll down this list. You're going to open this global data types. You're going to open up this one, saddleback.media.campus slide. And you'll go down here to, again, South Manila slider. Again, this was all set up, back when it was South Manila and not South Santa Rosa. So part of the reason why it's so hard to change that name right there is because we have so many little data things connected to it. But what you do right here is you click on this little guy right here and right-click, click Add Data. And this is going to bring up the form where you can create a new slide. And so, right here, Campus Slide Group ID, you don't need to change that because you're already under the South Manila. And that's going to put it on the Santa Rosa page. Slide type.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Can you go back to the data tab real quick?
Yeah.
Maybe just mention real quick that you can see there's 2 slides already under your folder and that are showing up on your page. And so they're represented by those 2 entries there. So if you were to double click on one of those, it would bring up the details for that particular slide.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to create a new one and you want to quickly reference one of the existing ones to see which of those fields are really valid and the kind of information that goes inside of it, you can open one of the existing ones.
Yeah. Yeah, and in fact, that's what I usually do when I have to make slides, because I can never remember all that need to be done for each one. I just look at the ones that have been done successfully in the past. It's our little developer secret. Yeah, so you kind of look at it, and usually we kind of add in the word custom, slide type. You can choose an image. You can also, if you have an external image, I was hoping this would put that in some documentation for you guys. Oh, what, Ryan?
This is Percy.
Oh, hi.
I have a question about the URL and the slide image.
Uh-huh.
What do you think loads faster?
Well, I don't know if it necessarily depends on which one you put it in, but it depends on how the image is saved and how big the image is.
Right.
We usually recommend if people put up images, and because in Photoshop you can do this thing like save. That usually kind of decrease the image file size while doing a good job at keeping the resolution and stuff like that. Because I think what happens is when you do the slide image versus slide URLs is this just is a way for you to upload an image to a public hosting site without having to have one already built in. I think it all uses the Amazon S3 servers.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, that's a great question. And we'll try and include the Photoshop stuff too. If I want to make a note. Okay. Yeah, right down below this, you'll see this thing called Video ID and Preview Video ID. That's something kind of interesting. We have added into the slides where we can add kind of like a animated image or a video to the slides. Now, the way we have it is it's hosted through our Media Manager system. So that may be something that if you have a video, and maybe Ryan can speak into this, but it might be something where you need to send us the video first so we can load it up onto Media Manager in the right way so that you can use it here.
Well, actually, I think that they can do it better because they're going to be, getting permissions to Media Manager to manage their weekend service. So, but I think for the purpose of this first training, since we're already covering stuff, I'm real comfortable with creating individual feature slides for the campus page that are being built up over there. When you have something to put up for a video, the way we typically do it is we'll create or the video team will create a 5-second loop that kind of plays in the background, and the 5-second loop is just there in place of the still image, and then we'll create a 15-second, and but once that loads in, then that'll play rather than the 5-second animated GIF, and then optionally you have like a full-length video that could be 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, whatever it is, that you can also upload, and the user can click on from that feature and watch the full-length video. I wish that we had an example to show you that Yorba Linda had running for a while, but we don't right this minute. But what I'd say, like I said, is get comfortable with just putting up a single image and creating a feature ad that way, and then maybe a follow-up session we can walk you through how to do the video ad, because there's just a bit more to it. And you probably don't have any video, ready to go right now anyway. So that's what I would recommend anyhow.
The Lake Forest, it probably does not look good at all over Zoom, but this is a little bit of what you can kind of see. Like, this is a little animated GIF right here, and then if I click this button right here, it's going to play a video inside the thing. Now, it's supposed to have
Linda is such a beautiful place.
Another video that plays over the kind of shortened GIF right here, but I don't know why that's not. It might have gotten deleted, but it would play a nicer video after about 10-15 seconds, like Ryan said. So, all right. Okay, yeah, and then kind of last things on this, just the title, subtitle, call to action label, call to action link. Those all have to do with these guys right here. Forgive me off the top of my head, I forget which one's which. I think, I can just look. Yeah, so title is obviously the big text right in the middle. Subtitle, and I apologize, that's probably a little confusing because they're reversed on the form, but title would be the welcome home right there, and then you have the subtitle up here, but then you have the link and the label for it. And then the sort order, you can just kind of put it in the sort order you want, so you can have it show up at the front, like the first slide, or down the line. And if you change the sort order, you just have to make sure that all the slides are in the right order, because if you put 2 on both of them, one of them will end up showing up first, but I'm not sure which one will. So just something to keep in mind. But yeah, okay, so I think that was a lot, but that was just the campus page. Now we will go to the campus online page, which will lead into the Media Manager stuff. But we'll start in the CMS, and then we'll see where it takes us. Okay. So back in the content section, you'll notice you have the Santa Rosa for the campus page. Right underneath it, if you open it up, it's going to go to Santa Rosa Online. Same situation, right-click, click Edit Page. Again, I have it open already, so it's going to pop up with a little, like, warning. Oops, it opened it up again. This one, even though thing, there's only one little box here, so that's a little nicer, but and there's not as much, I think, to kind of edit on this page as there is the other ones, but it is a little, well, okay, there's a little bit here, but let me see what I need to show you right here.
Yeah, they're not going to have to
modify
a lot on this, right?
Yeah, in fact, I think a lot of this stuff on this part, you'll just, it's like one and I can enter it and get it right. There's not a whole lot on here you'll have to change. It's more Media Manager. So, yeah, in fact, maybe we don't need to go too much over this, Ryan.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Unless, say, like the pastor changed, or the day that you do the weekend message changed, or something like that. But this should all be pretty much static. Yeah, but it is here. If you did want to tweak, say like the little thank you, from the pastor that you'll see on what's front facing, and some of those things. But I really doubt you'll be in here so much. You can see where it says thank you for joining us online for worship this week, right next to the thumbnail there. That's that copy is here and available to mess with if you wanted. But what's going to be changing every week, which is the weekend message and the bulletin information and those things, that all happens in your content management system that he's going to show you next.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, back. Here's the Santa Rosa page, and I actually have the live stream working this time because YouTube is not working. So right now, and I wanted to show you this before we go into Media Manager so we can change it. So right now, I just have it hooked up to the station, and you can't see, but it's very, very delayed, but I'm actually controlling it. It's live. We're seeing it there. So it's working there, and we're going to go to Media Manager and kind of show you how you kind of navigate this and change this guy right here, which is like the series and the name of the message and stuff like that. And again, right over here is what Ryan was talking about. This can be handled in the content management system. You can chase a pastor picture and all that stuff, which, after this we can kind of like be like, oh, we can get that from you guys. I can edit and change that. And again, back to these things. We can change all these, and I'll show you how to change what's in this bulletin section right here. And then also the Connect card. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go over to, if the little drop down goes away. Okay, it's not going away. Okay, so we're going to go to this thing called Media Manager. And actually, let me do this in a new browser so I can show you all the way from the beginning. Okay, so, sorry, I apologize. Okay, there's a lot of situation where at the name and password, probably don't need much for that. We'll teach you guys username and password. It's going to take you to this screen right here, Media Center, and it's going to just have you one drop down. And so what you're going to look for is there's a Santa Rosa Online in here. And so we're going to click on that, click enter, and it's going to take you to this new page. And it's always going to drop you on this one called Media. It's always going to drop you first on the media whenever you select Santa Rosa Online.
Which is actually good. That's actually a good thing because we have our messages are grouped into series, right? So Pastor Rick will do a series with 6 messages. And so the majority of the time you're in here and you're creating an individual media representing each message every week. And only once every 6 to 10 weeks are you creating a new series. And if it's like COVID, then you're only creating a series once a year because you're in James for 50 weeks.
Oops, sorry, I'm trying to get something here. It's my computer's slowing down a little bit. Apologize. Okay, that's not going. So, Ryan, should I start with series first or media, do you think?
I guess so that they can see what the relationship is, I would start with the series.
Okay. Okay, so let's say you guys are starting a new series, and you want that to contain all, like, the next, like, 5 sermons or something like that, or however many. You can come in here and click on series. And then it's going to kind of give you this little, like, form right here. Down at the bottom, it's going to say available series, so you can see what series you have made already. This is just, I just copied this off of the Saddleback Kids just because I was using that as a test one. So you can ignore that that's there, and we can even delete that once we get this totally live and out. But yeah, so it's going to give you this form, and so there's just you don't have to fill out every single, just a few things. So the first...
sorry.
Yeah.
So all that to say, what to do is create a new series. The form is just series that you've created in the past. So that available series, you've got Church at Home, Elementary, Made in God's Image. That's the only series in your St. Rosa category for media. So that list will just continue to grow as you create more and more series over time.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Ryan. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so you go up here, select the type. Usually if it's Sunday stuff, we do sermons. Series title. I'm just going to call it that for right now. It'll automatically fill out the series title URL. Description. Unless you have a description, you can always just kind of like copy and paste the title in there for right now until you get something more fleshed out, or not at all. Because I think that there's a couple of these you have to have, and I think that's one of them. I think long description is one too. Slogan you don't have to worry about. Hashtag you don't have to worry about. Tags you don't have to worry about.
Let me say with slogan, most of our series do have a slogan. So if you go to one of our series pages, the watch page, it'll say, Darren Faith, and then there'll be like some like a sub copy or a slogan that says, a faith that never quits. So that's where you drop in that slogan or subtext for the series title.
All right. Well, cool. Good to know. Yeah, but I don't think you have to have it to save it. So if it's not there, don't feel. Yeah, it's not required. Yeah. Series start date. You can kind of set what you want. Post date. I don't believe these are scheduled, Ryan. Right?
So here's the thing, and this will just be something you have to take note of. When you're creating a series or a media and it's for the weekend, you always want it to be for the Sunday of the weekend that that the message is being given. So even if you had, even if it was Saturday that you kick it off, I'm hesitating because I'm not 100% with how yours is set up versus the online campus. I believe it has to be for the Sunday. We'll confirm that. But for now, that's what we'll say.
And as we go down, playlist ID, bundle ID, course ID, series URL for Thinkific. You don't have to worry about these. for this series creation. Add slider ID, also no. Basically, the rest.
If you did plan on, and if you do today, as you upload your content, your message content to YouTube, if you actually put all the individual videos into a playlist on YouTube, if you do have a playlist ID from YouTube, you can drop it into this YouTube playlist ID, and it'll the player, when somebody's watching your message on Saddleback.com and it gets to the end of the message, it will respect that playlist ID and bring in into the YouTube player interface the other videos that exist within that YouTube playlist. So if you do, you can drop it in here, and you can download another deal.
Yeah, and you can always drop it in later down the line too. These will be editable after you create them too.
So it can be created as a draft first before we plug in the video, and then later towards the end of after we have done everything, editing and all, then we just like upload it and play it based on the schedule that we'll be assigning.
I believe you can do that because there's this button right here called Active. I think if you uncheck this, you can save it and it won't be active. And in fact, I think if we try this right now, click Add. It's going to tell me if I missed anything. Okay, I didn't. That's good. So it looked like it didn't change anything, but it actually brought me to a new page. Sorry, my browser's being very sluggish on Media Manager right now, and it's to happen.
Yeah, that's right. So if you want to just enter, you're not having to go on the website, you can just keep this series inactive until you have everything populated and then activate it. And then that, along with your publish date, especially on the media, is when it'll show up.
Yeah, and okay, and so here I went back to the series main, so I just clicked on series. And now you see under available series, we have the Church at Home that's highlighted, and then this one that's kind of grayed out, and that's the new one we created, and that's because we don't have it active yet.
So until the time we click on the active button, that's the time that you show on the website?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my question is, a follow-up question actually, that in Lake Forest, when do you make the service for a particular weekend available?
So right now it's Saturday at 4 o'clock.
So it's like, yeah.
And but it's set up a little bit differently for the online campus than what you guys have here. It's a little more manual with what you have because you're hosting everything on YouTube, and we're gonna keep you hosting it on YouTube for a variety of reasons. But Jesse will walk you through how you get your online service from streaming live what you have on YouTube to making that on demand, and how that switches over. And then you'll just let that run through the whole week, I would imagine, until what we do at Saddleback online campus is the hour before the next live service. What we typically do is there's a dead period where we take down the previous week's content is no longer available for the hour before the next live service, and what the user sees instead is a message about the service is not available and will be available at 4 o'clock, that kind of a thing. We might have to play with the timing of that a little bit as I'm saying that out loud. With yours, it might be more of a 5 minutes before, versus an hour before because of some of the we don't have some of the same built-in automated behaviors. But maybe Jesse's thought through that a little bit and can share more with you.
Yeah. Thanks. I think it's again the reason why I asked is because we've been doing YouTube and Facebook, and I think when we talk more about this, that let's say Saturday morning everything is uploaded, ready to be displayed on a specific time at YouTube and Facebook. But here we have to do it manually to click on active before it's shown on the website, even though it is uploaded already to YouTube.
Jesse, how do you have that set up? If they have the new media created, and they have the start time for the media, and there's nothing in the YouTube video ID field, will it switch over automatically to the live stream at the time that the media indicates? Like, is it scheduled? Does it work that way? Does it respect the start time and start date for the media?
I believe it would work in Media Manager if you scheduled a message, if you scheduled a media item to go live at, like, say 3 o'clock. I'm just throwing 3 o'clock out there. If that media item went live at 3 o'clock and it did not have a YouTube ID for your on-demand item, it would default to the Santa Rosa YouTube channel YouTube. So it would default to that channel, which if a live stream is going at the time, it would show the live stream. If there was no live stream, it will show like an error message saying like, hey, check back soon for a live message.
Can we test that? Can we prove that out together here?
Yeah. Let me turn off my live stream.
I'm going to step away for a moment.
All right, okay. I'm running to the other room to turn off the live stream. Actually, yeah.